Brian Callahan 100% sabotaged the Tennessee Titans in Week 1, proving once again he is not an NFL head coach. And I'm going to break it down on today's edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. No doubt about it, no way around it. Brian Callahan is 100% at fault for the Tennessee Titans' loss against the Denver Broncos. They lose 20-12, and quite frankly, it would not have mattered what the Denver Broncos did in this game because Brian Callahan is a first-class bozo. Over and over and over again, this man proves he is not an NFL-level head coach. I've said it throughout the all season. I've talked about how much the microscope, the lens, needs to be on Brian Callahan, and nobody wanted to listen to it. Brian Callahan absolutely destroyed and sabotaged any chance that the Tennessee Titans had to win this game. Now, before we get into the long list of disaster decisions by Brian Callahan, do want to thank you for making Locked On Titans your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. Speaking of every day, shout out to my everydayers out there tuning in Monday through Friday. If you aren't an everydayer, you need to be one. The season has kicked off. We got so much to talk about. Again, I am your host, Tyler Rowland. 25 years as a Tennessee Titans fanatic, cover the team for USA Today, Sports Illustrated, and hosted the #1 Tennessee Titans podcast, Locked On Titans, for now 7 seasons. All right, I am so angry. I am so angry in my bones. Not that the Tennessee Titans lost. Not that the Tennessee Titans lost. I told you guys, I thought that they were going to lose. And this is crazy how it happens all the time. I tell myself, I think the Titans are going to lose this game. I'm not going to get mad that they lost this game. I'm not going to get mad that and then they find a way to lose the game in the dumbest fashion possible. And literally, I might have a heart attack on stream. I am so pissed off at Brian Callahan. The Titans should have won this game. If you take 50 other NFL head coaches currently hired that have been fired in the last years, if you take 50 other NFL coaches, the Tennessee Titans win this game. Bozo Nix tried to give the game away. The Broncos were awful in this game. Awful. Let's go through the list. All we can do is go through the list, all right? Let's do it. Number 1, the Titans come out of the gate, and what did I say all week that they couldn't do? You can't do slow developing runs. The Broncos are one of the heaviest blitz teams on rundowns in the NFL, and he comes out with 2 gap runs that take forever to develop, and guess what happens? They get smoked. And then it's 3rd and 10. You're across your own 50-yard line, and you run the ball. You do a surrender run on 3rd and 10 across your own 50 and surrender a field goal. You know what would have helped the Titans? A touchdown. Despicable cowardice from Brian Callahan to come out and start the game. Period. And then the play setups. These guys don't know what they're doing on offense. They have no clue. The Titans ran a handoff to Tony Pollard, and nobody took the handoff, and Cam was just like, I guess I got to run it then. The Titans, I have never seen this in my life. I have never in my life, watching an NFL game, seen a team run a wide receiver screen, and nobody tried to catch the ball. Everyone blocked. 3 people, Chigakonkwo, Calvin Ridley, whoever else was the wide receiver, they all blocked. Not a single person on the wide receiver screen turned around and said, Cam, throw me the ball. They don't know what they're doing. How many times did the Titans almost get a delay a game or actually get a delay a game because they could not get lined up? That's coaching. The team is unprepared. They have no idea what they're doing out there. And let's just stay with the individual things. We get into the red zone. We get into the red zone. And do you guys remember the Detroit Lions game last year? Do you remember the Detroit Lions game last year where the Titans ran the same damn pick play over and over and over 4 straight downs and got a turnover on downs on the goal line because they ran the same rollout pick play over and over against the Lions? And Callahan gets one opportunity at the goal line, and what does he do? The same pick play that has never worked for you in your entire head coaching career. What are you doing? Holy cow. Holy cow. All right. Not only did he run the pick play, he rolled Cam Ward out so that Cam Ward, a natural creator and playmaker, only has half of a field to work with. Bozo! Clown car! Pathetic! This is a disgrace. And then we get to what might be the most damning thing that happened to Brian Callahan throughout the game, right before halftime. The Titans are on their own 1 yard line. Their own 1 yard line. Out of all the times in the world for Bozo Callahan to run, pass, or run. You're on your own 1 yard line. What are you doing? There's a minute left until halftime. What are you doing? He throws the ball 3 times in a row, almost takes a safety, and the Broncos don't have to use any of their timeouts. They give the ball right back to the Broncos, punting out of the shadow of their own goalpost, and the Broncos hit the only freaking touchdown that they had in the first half. Brian Callahan gave them 7 points on a platter and didn't even make them use their timeouts. You think that I am critical. Even the broadcast team, even the announcers are like, what is this guy doing? I saw Nick Wright from Fox Sports say that what Brian Callahan did before halftime is more negligible and more insane than anything that Will Levis did last year. And I agree with him. Pathetic, irresponsible, malpractice coaching that gifted the Broncos 7 points, and you didn't even charge them a few timeouts. Of all the times, the only drive in the game where he went pass, other than the very last drive. No, he started with a run play on that one too. There's 2 minutes left. They're down by 8, and he runs the ball. But they're on the 1 yard line before halftime and just need to salt it out and take it to halftime. And he goes pass, and gives the Broncos an easy field. I mean, it is like, I have never been this animated on the show other than when the Titans lost to the Bengals in the playoffs. And we just spent 6 minutes going through every despicable, insane, unacceptable mistake that Brian Callahan made. We didn't even talk about the second half yet. We haven't even talked about the big picture problems yet. Titans get an interception to start the second half. He goes run, punt. Thanks, Brian. How inspired. Way to take advantage of the turnovers, and we'll get there. Then the busted run that I mentioned earlier by Tony Pollard. 2 penalties after that, and the drive is dead. More penalties. And then the Broncos muff a freaking punt and put the Titans within the 30-yard range. Run, sack. And I saw people out there, people who cover the team for money, say, oh, bad job by Cam Ward there. He can't do that. Did you see the routes? If Cam Ward is in the pocket and Brian Callahan is running vertical routes, how is Cam Ward supposed to get the ball out of his hands quickly? There aren't any quick routes. And the Titans ran heavy protections, so there aren't any people in the flat or any checkdowns or dump-offs. That's a bad play call. You can't run only vertical routes. It was 3rd and 8. It was like 3rd and 18 or something like that. And if the Titans just get 5 or 6 yards, they're in field goal range. But instead, Callahan calls vertical routes, and Cam Ward gets sacked, and they lose 27 yards on the drive after a muff punt puts them basically in the red zone. Malpractice. I have never in my life, since the Detroit Lions game last year, I have never in my life seen such a poorly coached football game. I have never in my life seen an NFL head coach give away the game for his football team the way Brian Callahan did. I've never seen it. I watched a high school football game on Friday night. I do the PA announcing. Both of those coaches would have not hurt the Titans as bad as Brian Callahan did today. He didn't just not help them. He destroyed them. He sabotaged them. So those are the big picture things, right? Those are, or not the big picture. Those are all the little details where Brian Callahan absolutely sabotaged this football team. Now, let's go to the big picture stuff. You guys want to look at some stuff? What does this remind you of? 6 sacks. 6 sacks. The Titans win the turnover battle 4-2 and really 4-1. Cam Ward fumbled at the very end after he got sacked again, trying to make something happen on the last play of the game. Really, the Titans won the turnover battle 4-1. And then penalties. 13 penalties for 131 yards. The Tennessee Titans offense had 133. The Titans had as many penalty yards as they had offensive yards. I said it in my short video. But we need to call the DEA. We need to call the FBI. Somebody dig up Walter Cronkite. Somebody call Pablo Torre, finds out. We need to have an investigation into Brian Callahan because there is no way that he is such a moron to do what he did out there today. Unbelievable. I'm beside myself. And I saw another beat reporter say, well, I thought the Titans were going to lose, but this brings up fresh concerns. Brian Callahan is a fresh concern? Brian Callahan should have been the number one concern. The number one concern all season. I said, spotlights on Brian Callahan. He's the biggest X factor. Microscope on Brian Callahan. My background thing on YouTube with the rundown on the right-hand side or whatever, it literally said, Callahan's big test. Would Brian Callahan have this team ready to play? Would Brian Callahan be able to correct some of the bad coaching that he had from last year? The answer is a resounding no. So it may be week 1, and I know all of you copers out there are going to say, Tyler, it's just week 1. Tyler, it's just week 1. No, it's not. It's week 19. It's week 19 for Brian Callahan. This ain't new. He ain't a rookie. This is the same guy that lost the Titans multiple games last year. And yeah, Will Levis is to blame, but I'm looking at Brian Callahan right now and saying, well, Will Levis sure looked a hell of a lot better with Mike Vrabel. So maybe, I'm not saying Will Levis is good, but maybe Will Levis looked like such crap because Brian Callahan is a first-class bozo. Period. So, I got to stop sweating. I got to calm down. I'm so angry. I know you guys are too. Let's take a deep breath, and let's talk about what was good in this game. Tighten up, tighten down. And Cam Ward, poor Cam Ward. The entire team, well, not the defense and special teams maybe, but on offense, whether it's coaching or the supporting cast, the entire team let down Cam Ward. And he played, don't let the people lie to you, Cam Ward played great. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. They have max discounts during the week where you could get like Dak Prescott more than half a passing yard, Lamar Jackson more than half a passing yard, Travis Kelce more than half a receiving yard. Great deals there. So make sure that you download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Also want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Upside. So, you're still paying for full price on your gas, Titans fans? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code TOUCHDOWN to get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying gas that you already need. At first thought, it sounds too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. You can cash out anytime to your bank, PayPal, or to an e-gift card. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code TOUCHDOWN for a limited time 25 cents off per gallon. That's promo code TOUCHDOWN. Offer varies by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Titans fans, let's continue today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. We talked about Brian Callahan absolutely sabotaging his team, and I'm calling for some sort of investigation. We have to get some sort of organization on the case here. I mean, I'm joking, but am I joking? I don't know. Either way, it's time for tighten up, tighten down. We got to talk about the players who actually played well, and that starts with Cam Ward. Look, the stats look terrible. 112 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 12 for 28, sacked 6 times, had the turnover at the end, which is nonsense, you know what I mean? It's nonsense. But did you see how Cam Ward was dotting the ball? Literally dotting the ball to his wide receivers. The perfect pass down the sideline. Oh, I didn't even mention that in the Brian Callahan stuff. Elikayo Manor caught the football and his elbow hit on the ground. One elbow is 2 feet. Brian Callahan didn't challenge. 3rd and 18. Cam Ward throws a dot down the sideline to Elikayo Manor, and Brian Callahan doesn't challenge the freaking play. And then the Titans punt. Bozo. Absolute bozo. But again, what a throw by Cam Ward. Cam Ward hits Calvin Ridley. How many times you got to throw the ball to Calvin Ridley before Calvin Ridley catches it? Calvin Ridley's your top 5 receiver. Cam, you better stop lying for these boys if they aren't going to help you. Unbelievable. The amount of drops that happened to Cam Ward today. Unbelievable. And then you add in Cam Ward sacked 6 times. 6 times. So, look, people are going to say what they want about Cam. You guys know how it's going to go. The national media is going to say he didn't play well. Blah, 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 blah. But we know what really happened. We know what really happened. And when we go through the tape tomorrow on the Tic Tac Titans film channel, we're going to look at how well Cam played. He was composed. He was poised. He never say die. He would float away. He would make things happen. Remember that scramble that he had that got called back because Dan Moore holding? Cam looked great in this game. And this goes back to, remember my video where I said I have Cam Ward concerns? Not concerns about Cam Ward, but concerns for Cam Ward. Because I knew Brian Callahan's a bozo. Dan Moore is not worth the money that they paid him. The wide receiver group is not very good. I had concerns for Cam Ward. And look what happened. The entire offense let Cam Ward down. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. The quarterback play improved. Cam Ward played almost a better game today than we saw almost all last year. And it still wasn't even close. They lost by 8. They weren't even close. Because everything else on the offensive side of the ball was not good enough. But Cam Ward was. That's the thing. I said right after the game, the Titans need a wide receiver 1. They need a new left tackle. They need an edge rusher. And they need a new head coach. But you know what the Titans don't need anymore? A quarterback, because we got one, folks. We got one in Cam Ward. Period. So I already know what the narratives are going to be. I already know how people are going to talk. The dumbest person you know is going to say that Cam Ward played bad in this game. He did not. Do not listen. Do not listen to that. Period. Point blank. No questions. Now listen, Cam Ward wasn't the only person. Cam Ward was far from the only person who had a good game. Jeffrey Simmons was insane in this game. Jeffrey Simmons was absolutely unstoppable basically the entire game. He wrecked the Broncos' offensive line, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. He had 4 sacks. He had 4 quarterback hits. He had a strip sack fumble. Jeffrey Simmons was absolutely incredible, worth every single cent. And I've been asking for that all offseason. I have been saying, Big Jeff, need you to look like you're worth the money. Big Jeff, need you to get more than 5.5 sacks. Big Jeff, need you to make special plays and be that all-pro player that you were in 2021 and 2022. That's exactly who we saw out there today. Exactly who we saw out there today. Not only that, but Roger McCreary, awesome in this game. Awesome. Gets the interception. When did you see somebody getting a catch on Roger? Maybe once, twice. Great high point catch on Cortland Sutton, who's way bigger than him, to get the interception. Roger McCreary, once again, awesome. As always, solid and awesome. Not only that, but Femi Oladejo, y'all wanted to write him off as he developed in the preseason. Did you see Femi out there? Multiple pressures, created multiple throwaways for Bo Nix. Not only that, but did you see Femi Oladejo coaching the defensive line? I remember specifically the Broncos ran a run play to Femi Oladejo, and he screamed at the defensive line and said, shift over. And the D-line shifted over, and they ran right to it, and they got a perfect stop with Femi at the heart of it. Femi Oladejo played great in this game. I mean, was he Myles Garrett? Was he Trey Hendrickson? No. But all of you guys said Femi's a bust. What a terrible pick. They should have picked Mike Green. He played great in this game. He wasn't the reason they lost. He didn't kill him. He got pressure. He did his job. Femi Oladejo did everything that you could have asked of him for where he's supposed to be at in his development. So I thought Femi was great. T'Vondre Sweat makes the big time. I'm so angry at Brian Callahan. T'Vondre Sweat, big time play, 4th down stop, gives the Titans the ball back at the freaking half-yard line with a chance to go tie it. And I think that's when Brian Callahan went run, sack. Like, I just... Anyway, Big Jeff, Sebastian Joseph Day, T'Vondre Sweat, Femi Oladejo, Roger McCreary, all played really good in this game. Now, I want to go to special teams as well, because the Tennessee Titans special teams was actually a major benefit most of the time. Chim DK. No wonder they cut James Prochet and went with DK. He had 1 punt return for 12 yards, didn't drop the ball, good return, awesome. He had 4 kickoff returns for 144 yards. That's 36 yards per kickoff return with a 71-yarder. And let's just say this, that 71-yard return saved Brian Callahan's butt after that disaster class of an end-to-halftime management. If Chim DK doesn't run back that kick return right before halftime for 71 yards and give the Titans an extra field goal, we're talking about 20-9. Which is what it should have been. So, Chim DK was incredibly impressive. We got one, folks. The way they used him as a gadget player on offense, handed the ball off to him, the way he was able to return, we got a returner in Chim DK now. We got one. So, there are some major positives coming out of this game. The Titans players, the Titans roster does look improved. The Titans players and roster looked like, hey, this team did get a little better over the offseason, which is what we wanted. So there are my tighten ups. If you guys felt I missed any tighten ups, let me know down below. But now we got to talk about the tighten downs. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. The NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. Ugh. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between queues, logins, prices jumping at checkout. It's frustrating. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included. So the price that you see is the price that you pay. Game Time has the best features in the industry. That's why I buy all my tickets on Game Time. I've gone to multiple NFL games, big-time college football tickets. I got a great game next weekend on Saturday I'm going to. I've done NBA, WNBA, concert, comedy. Doesn't matter. You'll get it on Game Time. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Titans fans, let's continue today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast, breaking down the Tennessee Titans opening season loss to the Denver Broncos. They lose 20-12. It's time for Tighten Down. We talked about Brian Callahan's sabotage attempt that was successful to start the show. We talked about the good stuff in the game. Don't tell me I'm all negative. I talked about all of the players that I was impressed by in the game. But now we got to do Tighten Down. And if you guys don't know, Tighten Up is the winners. Tighten Down, my biggest losers. Obviously, Brian Callahan is the number one Tighten Down for me. But as I did earlier, I went through the list. The penalties, 13 for 131, basically the same amount of yards as the offense. The turnover battle, the Titans won and still couldn't even come within 7 points. Third down run play across the 50. Offense can't get lined up. No wide receiver to catch the wide receiver screen. No handoff, nobody getting it. Bad red zone play calls once again. Mismanagement on the 1 yard line before halftime. Vertical routes when you need 8 yards late in the game. It was just an absolute disaster. So obviously, Brian Callahan is my number one Tighten Down. Number one, no question about it. But when we talk about the players, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. was a disaster. And you know, I got to tell you guys, I really get sick of people defending Jarvis Brownlee and saying, oh, that was a bad call. Oh, that was a ticky-tack call. Oh, that wasn't a pass interference. Oh, the refs are out to get the Titans. The refs are out to get the Titans. Do you guys not see patterns? Like, I know that seeing patterns is a critical thinking skill, and quite frankly, my view of society is that a lot of people don't have critical thinking skills. They can't identify patterns. Do you not see that this happens every single week with Jarvis Brownlee Jr.? Like, at what point in time, every single game, you guys are like, oh, he's getting screwed, those aren't penalties. Well, if every single week he's getting called for 3 or 4 penalties, it's a pattern. It's not the refs. These are different crews, different wide receivers, different environments, home and away. It doesn't matter. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is getting stupid penalties. He did it against Tampa Bay when he tried to suplex a guy. And Jeffrey Simmons, I'm not giving Jeffrey Simmons Tighten Down. Jeffrey Simmons gets a major Tighten Up. He was great in this game. It wasn't his fault they lost. But the Titans did get a stop, and what did Jeff do? Another stupid personal foul penalty, which he's done a ton in the past. At some point, when this pattern develops and it shows you clearly, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is going to get multiple stupid penalties every single game. At some point, you guys have to stop blaming the refs and look at the pattern. It's him. He isn't learning. He isn't adjusting. I don't care whether it's fair or it's not fair. They are calling it every single game. That's on you now. You should know that it's going to be unfair. You should adjust to that. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. hurts this team way more than he helps this team when it comes to the penalties. There's just no more debate. There's no more debate that can be had. It's a pattern. That's how I feel about Brian Callahan. People say, oh, you're going to criticize every play call. Once a pattern develops, you can't point to a single incident and argue the single incident. Yeah, that single incident may not be, it's not Brian Callahan's fault that Kevin Zeitler jumped off sides. Well, actually, maybe Kevin Zeitler should have played in the preseason and he would be more ready to go and not get a false start penalty. And that is on Brian Callahan, the coach, who chose to not play Kevin Zeitler in the preseason. Therefore, he is not ready and ready to go. The buck stops with the coach. But again, tighten down for Jarvis Brownlee Jr. and tighten down for Dan Moore. I tried to warn you guys. Tyler, you're so negative. Why don't you just... Dan Moore is not worth $22 million. The Titans need a left tackle still. The Titans need a left tackle. Dan Moore ain't the answer. He got pantsed out there. Penalties? They said it on the broadcast. Dan Moore had 24 penalties last year and 14 sacks. He was one of the bottom 5 starting left tackles in the NFL. And you could say, he had a good pass rush win rate. Well, that's great. I hope the pass rush win rate will block for Cam Ward while Dan Moore is getting smoked. So, give me a break on that. And then Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's a top 5 wide receiver. I appreciate it, Cam. I appreciate it. But Calvin Ridley had more drops in this game than he had catches. Well, I think he had 3 drops, and he ended up with 4 catches for 27 yards. But what a pathetic display from Calvin Ridley. More than anything. Some of them are tough catches. I'm not here to tell you that, especially some of the early ones. Tough catches. But him dropping that post at the end, the Titans would have had the ball at the 50-yard line. Calvin might have caught that and ran to the freaking end zone. Clean, easy, dropped it right to the ground. Did you guys see Cam Ward's dad in the stands? They showed him on the television broadcast. If you didn't see it, Cam Ward's dad is sitting in the stands next to my guy Ben Arthur from Fox Sports. Shout out Ben. But after Calvin dropped that, Cam's dad literally stood up, walked into the aisle, and put his hands on his head and looked down at the ground. Could not believe what they were doing to his son. I mean, Calvin Ridley was a 1,000-yard receiver last year. Calvin Ridley is a good player, but he's the opposite of clutch. He's the opposite of clutch. And I give credit. The Jaguars fans warned us. They told us he doesn't know where to line up. He doesn't understand the playbook. He's going to drop the ball all the time. He's not going to be in the right place. And so much crap happened last year in the game, in the season, that we couldn't hate on Calvin Ridley. He went for 1,000 yards. He dropped some passes, but the rest of the team was a freaking disaster. How am I going to talk bad about Calvin Ridley? But he really let Cam Ward down out there tonight. Really let him down. No question. Major tighten down for Calvin Ridley. And I know that there are other players out there that didn't play very well, but I got to give my last tighten down to James Williams. Two special teams penalties from James Williams. 2. Like, how can you... It's crazy. It's just crazy, man. This team, man. This football team. I just don't understand. I don't understand. I never will. Like, last year, rookie quarterbacks never win. Andrew Luck is the only rookie quarterback in the last, 20 years to win week 1 or the number 1 pick to win week 1 until Caleb Williams last year. And guess who did it? The Titans and Brian Callahan. Historic things are happening against Brian Callahan. week in and week out, historic collapses, historic issues, monumental fall-offs under Brian Callahan's watch. So, in my opinion, I think Mike Borgonzi was texting eye emojis and hearts to John Gruden during the game. I don't think that Gruden is a great choice. I don't think Gruden's going to be the next coach. It's mostly just a joke, but is it? Is it? It's week 1. You could say it's an overreaction, but again, this ain't week 1 for Brian Callahan. It's week 19. And how many games does this dude got to blow for this football team before we all wake up and smell the roses? He's not an NFL head coach. Not yet. He's going to go be a good offensive coordinator, and then maybe he'll get another opportunity to be a head coach when he's older, and he'll do better. But he ain't it right now. And I would not be shocked, and shout out my guy Justin Graver from Titan Film Room, who said this idea in my comments on Twitter, but I would not be shocked if at some point during this season, Brian Callahan is fired, and Mike McCoy, who was brought on as a senior offensive assistant, who used to be a head coach in the NFL, is the interim head coach. Because there's no way that Chad Brinker, Mike Borgonzi, and Amy Adams Strunk are looking at what Brian Callahan just did and saying, oh, this is the guy to lead us into the future with Cam Ward. And again, you guys all want continuity. You want continuity with Cam Ward. Cam wants continuity. I get it. But maybe some of you are young. Maybe some of you found your high school sweetheart and you never had to worry about it. But if you have ever dated in your entire life as an adult, you know that staying with the wrong person for too long is just as bad as breaking up too soon. And this guy is not. The Titans scored 12 points and Cam Ward played well. I don't care what kind of continuity Brian Callahan is bringing to the table. It's not the kind of continuity that I want. So I got to go take some blood pressure medicine. I got to go take a shower. I am disgusted. I'm disgraced. And I know that all you guys feel pretty similar to me. Let me just say 1,300 people are watching this live right now. Hit the thumbs up button. Get subscribed. Stay subscribed. Guys, I talk about film. I break down the talking points, the breaking news, analysis, opinion. There is not a Titans content creator on earth who is on my level. Sorry, not sorry. So make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. That's going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.